comment period. We'll address the board at the time they can do so at the end of the meeting. And I'll start off with calling the meeting to order. We'll have a roll call by Madam Clerk Fettig, then we'll get on with business. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Commissioner Young.
Here.
Commissioner Barba.
Here.
Commissioner Vaughn.
Here.
Commissioner Lutz.
Here. Commissioner
Commissioner Cook.
Here.
You have a quorum. You may proceed.
Thank you. First thing on the new business. The memorandum of understanding MOU with Lapeer County. Steve Anderson, Emergency Service Director. Morning, Steve.
Morning, Commissioners. So this is a offer we have from Lapeer County. They had some equipment that they received through the grants through Michigan State University Extension and MDARD to purchase, and it was for livestock. So in the event that there's a large scale livestock incident, they have the means of taking care of that incident. Currently, we do not really have that capability. So they're offering an MOU with us that if something were to happen, we could call, take care of that or mitigate that problem. So there's no cost to us unless we use it, and it would be any expense, but we can possibly go back on DBET. So
Have we ever used this, Steve?
we've come close. We had a semi rollover on Cemetery Road that was full of cattle. Luckily, the neighborhood or the neighbor farmers all helped in and took care of it. But if we were to have an incident right now, not really. We'd have to scramble. And this is a 3-year agreement with them, and then we can review it on the end of 3 years.
So it's something that the CA for
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Number 2. Community.
Commissioners, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to be very brief. Some of you know me, Commissioner Lutz, Commissioner Vaughn know me. I am by business an attorney. I am also the current chair of the Thumb Regional Multi-County Community Corrections Advisory Board. To be a member of that board by the grant statute, we need one defense attorney. My term is coming up, and because we are a multi-county and Tuscola has been a very major portion of the Community Corrections Board and becoming more important day by day, I would come here, and you have given me the courtesy to give me some time, and I would ask that it be this board that reappoint me for another 2-year term, and then it will be up to the Community Corrections Board itself whether or not they choose to ask me to stay as their current chair for another year period. It's an annual period. So I'm here today because the statute allows any of the member counties to appoint, and then we, the Community Corrections Board, confirm that appointment. So I'm humbly presenting myself and asking that you reappoint me to the Community Corrections Advisory Board. And I would take any questions from any of the commissioners.
Mr. Chair, how many counties make up this?
4. So we have Lapeer, Tuscola, Huron, and Santa. Yeah. And I've been a member for the last 7 years.
Yes.
I sat on that board, and again, he's been doing a fantastic job. I would highly recommend him.
Thank you. No further questions, then I will yield.
CA, or do we have to have a motion on that?
Let's put it on a motion for on Thursday.
Commissioner, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Move on to number 3. Presentation by Brown and Brown regarding Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We do have a.
Yes.
Okay. I have some slides presented. So I'm Randy Westlock from Brown & Brown. We came in a few months ago and we talked about Blue Cross's renewal. So the most recent renewal is a 12-month renewal from January through December of 2025. Blue Cross's illustrative rates were scheduled to increase by 16.28%. So we went out and we looked for plan options. And that was due to higher cost of medical treatments and prescription drugs. The stop loss was also scheduled to increase by 22.69%. Again, that's due to stop loss level is at $45,000. That level has worked well for the county, so that's where that will stay for the 2025 plan year. And then the Blue Cross administrative fee also increased by 3.96%, which was pretty normal. This year overall has been high, regardless of, what county or employer we're working with.
Sorry, I sent it to Ian and he's not really, we're trying to.
Oh, that's okay. Do you want me to hold off or keep going until it's on the board?
Let us keep talking about.
Okay, so. All right, so the next section was total estimated taxes and fees, the Patient-Centered Outcomes Research Institute fee, the PCORI fee. We look at that every year for you, and it's scheduled or estimated to be $1,774 for the 25 plan year. Again, the PCORI fee is authorized through 2029, and that's paid annually by July 31st to the IRS. We're almost there. All right, I'm on slide. Go to 4, please. Thank you. All right, a big part of this renewal has also run around Public Act 152, the hard cap rules. The state increased the hard cap by 0.2%, so 0.2% for 2025. This is the lowest we've seen. For reference, 2024 increased by 4.1%, and 23 hard caps increased by 1.3%. So this was leading to more changes between that and the increases that we have seen. The actual 0.2% increase is based off of the consumer price index based off of healthcare. So it's essentially an adjustment based on the inflation rate for healthcare costs. There is more information going across to the state level on what the hard cap looks like for next year. We don't anticipate any more changes this year, but the 0.2% was not well received by any employer. All right, so slide 5. January through December 2025, we did do some changes to the medical plan, as you're all aware. There's 4 plan options currently. We're going to do 5.
Chairman,
Yes, just do.
would you make that a full screen?
Thank you, Commissioner, for that too.
Plans 4 and 5 are both new to the county. The current 2024 plan year base plan, which is Plan 4, is going to be a buy-up now. So the Simply Blue 2000, or Simply Blue 500, was capped, and it's now a buy-up plan. That is now Plan 3. And then one of the items that was added for employees is condition management solutions through Blue Cross Blue Shield and Teladoc. So what that's doing is it's providing a voluntary way for your employees to seek services for diabetes management, diabetes prevention, hypertension, and weight management. Again, that's voluntary. They can choose to do that if they choose. And then the next line, under the hard cap by $43,000. So we had to make those changes to get below the hard cap. Last year, if we look at that, 2024, we were under the hard cap by only $8,300. So you consider the amount of claims that came in and only increasing, the hard cap by 0.2%. That's what led these changes. So like we said, I'm sorry, can you go to 6? There you go, thank you. There's 5 plans this year, so this breaks it down a little bit further. The base plans are plans 4 and 5. Plan 5 is simply Blue high deductible health plan. Employees can choose to go and get an HSA for themselves. And then plan 4 is more of a traditional Simply Blue 2000 plan. And then the buyout plans, like we said, the Simply Blue 500 was capped. We have this Community Blue 3 and Community Blue 1. Those were the options that we thought would most benefit the county employees, and the Community Blue 2 was dropped. All 5 plans, you're able to get the buyout dental plan as well. And like we said, plans 4 and 5 fall below the hard cap, so those are the base plans that have no employee co-share unless they chose to do the buyout dental. Next slide, please. Thank you. And this is just kind of a recap of 2024 where we're currently at. You have a Simply Blue 500, which is the base plan that the county has had that plan since 2020. So that plan has worked well. A lot of employees have liked that. So that was one of the reasons that plan stayed and became a buyout. And then currently you have the Community Blue 1, 2, and 3 as buyouts. The Community Blue 2 is the one going away. And all those plans also, you can purchase buyout dental. Next slide, please. And I already touched on this. There is more information at the state level right now. Several bills out there going for consideration to amend Public Act 152. That way, when they're looking at the healthcare increases, it matches more what's going on in the industry. We're keeping a close eye on that. We don't expect to see anything before the end of the year, but as updates come on PA 152 litigation, or not litigation, information across the state line, we will make sure we work with Shelley and get that out, information out. And other than that, any questions?
Any questions for Brandon?
I have a couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
Brandon,
Yes.
you said an administrative fee increase 3.9%.
Yes.
What is the total administrative fee? 3.9% on top of something?
So the Blue Cross has an admin fee and then the specific and the aggregate stop loss fees. I don't have that in front of me, but those all do add up. I can give that information to Shelley if that would help.
That'd be. The other question, sort of with historical, perhaps Glenn can help. There's been some question, concern, and comparison between medical care facilities, HAP, insurance that they're gonna go into, or they've been into it, and Blue Cross. And the discussion has been, did the county look at HAP, did the county look at other options, and I know we've sort of covered this. But, okay, I got your hand signal.
Yeah.
So, Brandon, are you handling the medical care?
Yes.
Okay.
We did go to,
Expound on that, because that's a burning question out there, that
yes.
those in the county versus those that coming from the county.
Yeah, so we did go up to bid for other vendors, HAP, Priority Health, and a list of others. This year, due to the way the claims came in, they really weren't offering anything. So we've seen some carriers this year just say, we're gonna be competitive on service, not rates. Which right at the gate, well, they're not gonna provide an option that's gonna be beneficial to an employer if they're gonna make that change. So that's what we're seeing in the industry, where this has been a year where we've not seen employers jumping from carrier to carrier because there's not been a competitive rate structure for that.
So by comparison, if you look at both of them, I know you have that knowledge. If you were to explain this to an employee here, are they about the same? Is there a benefit to the HAP? Is there a benefit to Blue Cross? How would you explain that in terms, because what the basis here is, as you mentioned earlier, your last visit, or maybe Mitch, in between, is that any cost of living is being eaten up by the cost of healthcare. That's a universal discussion right now, as you know. How do you go about explaining that in a meaningful way?
Well, that's always a tough one, right? The big thing is the amount of claims coming in, the claims cost, prescription drug cost, all of that has went up so much in the past few years. They're seeing a lag in claims come in after COVID-19. So we're seeing rate increases based off of that. It's based off of utilization. And it is a tough discussion because you don't want to tell somebody, or, don't go use the services. Because that's immediately where they want to go to. Like, no, go get your provider services, go get that. Some of what we've seen is the lack of going and getting preventive services, especially since COVID-19. Other items have come up, other more expensive medical conditions have risen from that. So the discussion to an employee is really, this is all going to be based off of the amount of claims coming in, what's coming in. Usually they say for every couple of good years, you have one bad year. And this has been a bad year.
So this explanation really depends on the type of claims, the individualistic type. But in terms of overall plan, first the idea or the thought is there's some. The other question was, years ago, we used to have the same plans for medical care and the county, and there was some advantage because of the largeness, and I know that fell away at some point. Any comment on that? Would have been any difference if we would have went, county would have went half, or, I know you're talking about plan, not plan changing.
Right.
Plans, but any advantage to employees? If that
I would think no. If you're going to do a network comparison of the network of doctors, Blue Cross tends to have the largest network of doctors across the state of Michigan.
So that's a significant advantage.
Yes.
In that.
And I'm not saying half doesn't have doctors in the area, but you might force employees to leave their current doctor to go find somebody in network if you would have made a change to half or priority health.
So also the question begs is that, I know it's based on claims, and claims are, claims happen, acuity in healthcare, individually. Let's just use Tuscola County. If Tuscola County would have half as many claims, and I'm assuming there's the tiered claims that are outreach claims, I mean, they're way up. Would that make a difference?
Yeah, it would have, because the amount of claims you're even having right now is impacting even your stop loss renewal. So if the claims would have been as high, you wouldn't have seen as high as even the stop loss rates.
So, and that sort of alludes to the fact that if the claims are cut in half, could the employees enjoy the same plan they had last year?
Possible. I mean, we'd have to go back and, take the trend off the stop loss to see what that would come in at. Would that fall under the 0.2% hard cap? It would just take a little bit of analysis, but we could look at it.
That's theoretical. I wanted to get the sense of how it balances out, and I'm not playing out any claims or any individuals. It's just, it is what it is, and that's what it's there for. And I guess what you paid 152 is the only real means of adjustment.
Right, that really drove home the need to make plan changes as well.
And if that were changed in April, would we and others have to wait till the following year to realize any benefit?
I mean,
You
could make a group-wide change to adjust, just say the Simply Blue 2000 plan. That's currently a $4,000 deductible. Sure, we can go look at that and say, would a Simply Blue 3000 fall below the new hard cap? Sure, that could be done if they make that adjustment in that time frame.
Will they raise it 4%, for instance, or 6% or something? Because as you know, it's unchecked currently. I don't know who's checking it, but. So there would be an option to evaluate the plans.
Of course.
Okay.
And that's something we could go discuss with Blue Cross, get some plan options, that's not a problem.
Okay. No further questions.
Any other questions for Randy?
Chairman, this is actually.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was like, what am I looking at?
We were rapid fire.
You're talking the total cost, that's
For
okay.
total cost, yeah.
Okay, Shelley, look at the admin fee for the total cost for the county, it's $159,243.
73.
Oh, $273.60. So that's the total cost of the admin fee.
And that includes the 3.9%.
It does, yes.
And that's a cost for Blue Cross to administer the plan and pay all the claims.
Any more questions? Thank you very much for coming, we appreciate
Thank you
it.
all.
Thank you.
Do you need some sort of action at all? This was a potential motion for Thursday.
Yes. Okay,
Do you want that on consent agenda or on the regular agenda?
I think you can send it to that, probably give.
Yeah, today's fun.
Forward.
Okay, thank you, Commissioners.
Move on to old business. Number one on old business is the opioid task force, use of the opioid settlement fund. Zach Meister, interim chief accountant.
I just wanted to give you a brief update. I have been in discussion with Chief Judge Gerhardt on this as well. Any information that's coming in from my emails, I filter it off through the judge and sometimes through the task force. But printed out where we're standing right now with the funds. Obviously, we do keep those, all of the settlement funds in a separate fund, special revenue fund. There's about $875,000 in there. Nothing has been spent yet. We did have Amy Dolinky present to the opioid task force back in April when I was here. And I'm keeping all this data together, both electronically and in paper for the next controller administrator. The judge is working on this as time permits. But I wanted to give you that update. Also, there's a legislative update that has links to the resource center, quick guides, monitoring the spending and stuff like that. I forwarded all that information over as well. But I thought I wanted to give you an update because the money's still coming in from settlements. And the task force obviously will probably be coming to you at some point on how to spend those funds that best suits the citizens of Tuscarora County.
Mr. Chair, I have a question for our chief accountant. Who is the chair of this fund?
Well, when we had our meeting, and it was a great meeting, we have in the task force, you got the health department, you got behavioral health, you got the judicial system, we had the sheriff, under Sheriff Anderson was at the meeting as well, the ISD. So when we got together in a group, we asked for somebody to take the lead, and Judge Gerhardt did step forward and said that she would take the lead on this. But I know she's extremely busy right now, and but she's got her eye on everything.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Clay, do they say how much exactly they think we're gonna get, or approximately how much we're gonna get over the period?
I know I presented that to you guys in the past, I didn't have it here. Obviously, more and more, bankruptcies are coming in, but the settlement money is slow, it looks like it's slowing down a little bit. But this year, we got 502,000, last year we had 372,000. But I know there's still a substantial amount that should be trickling in. Some of them just paid up directly, other ones is gonna be over a period of, I think 3 to 5 years.
Thank you.
Depending, the bankruptcies that are happening with the pharmaceuticals and things like that too.
Any more questions for today? Okay, moving on to finance, we'll turn over to Mr. Bible, but the number one on the finance commissioner has been moved to Thursday. So that's no longer today.
Is that the out-of-state travel?
Yeah.
That'll be Thursday?
Yeah, that'll be moved to Thursday.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Therefore, the next item of the Bureau of Justice Assistant Combination of the Stimuli and Substance Use Program. Keep it short, that's to review this.
I just wanted to give you a quick update. Judge Bitzer wants to present to you. His schedule was full this morning, but he plans on coming to you with doing maybe a deeper review of what's happening here. I have been assisting as far as getting the letter from the chairman and moving forward on this. What this means to Tuscola County is potentially $100,000 for a couple of periods to put this reaching rural project into play. Also, on top of that, potentially 1.6 million over a period of 4 years. And this is no cost to the county. This is 100% grant funds coming in. So we did put a copy of a letter that we had to submit to the Bureau of Justice, ensuring that how the money will be spent and how it will be tracked in Tuscola County. And I think that's all I have right now, other than Judge will be back before you as soon as time permits, so he can kind of go over this program a little bit more depth. But it's a great thing. I think that judicial should be applauded for going after these grants and securing them. It's been a lot of work for them. I think it's been over a year in the making. They have traveled to DC and so anyways, I just want to add that a little bit in there.
Do we know when we need places on for Judge Bitzer?
I don't know at this time. He said as soon as his schedule will permit.
Okay, great,
So he'll let us know.
great, thank you, Glenn.
All right, thank you. And item 3, marijuana operation oversight grants, 2025 grant application update. And again, that's would be Colette.
So received all this stuff in the mail, or not mail, in my email. As soon as I got it, I initiated it out to judicial, to the health department, emergency services, IST. Right away, I just sent the feelers out to see if anybody was on top of this. And our health officer, Amanda Urban, she is submitting the application to get this. She has done so over the last 3 years. So she will be securing that grant for Tuscola County. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. Another grant coming in, another possibility. And this is wonderful to see everybody kind of come together and work together. Health department, schools, judicial. So she has secured it for 3 years, so I don't think there's any problem in us getting that forth here.
Thank you once again. Moving on to number 4, the finance agenda, evaluating new conforming limited land bank law 283. Once again, Claire.
Just wanted to bring this to your attention because I had to remove it from your all funds budget, which we'll be looking at on Thursday and moving forward on. The land bank is identified as a discretely presented component unit. I did run this by our new auditors, Mayor Custerson, and did get feedback from him stating that you're correct. The board should not be budgeting for this item. It's a land bank board, and the land bank will be internally budgeting the use of these funds. Obviously, it's still on our financials. It's still going to be reported on our annual audit, but it sets in place in our audit with our other 2 discretely presented component units, and that's the road commission and the drain commission. So now we have 3, and you'll be able to find that information in our audit and year-end finances. I just wanted to let you know because this is something me walking into because this was new this year, and it's a special revenue fund that I started, enforcing, putting a budget into play. And I found out that you should not be doing it, so it has been removed from your all fund sheet for Thursday.
Well, thank you. And once again, on number 5, 2024 budget amendments, and Claire will be doing those as well.
So one more little sweep. I keep trying to get this 24 cleaned up, get ready for audit prep. Just got a few minor things. Found the auction sales for the Marines in the general fund needed to have a budget attached to it, as well as the canteen sales was greater than usual. What that means is your net effect on your general fund balance will be an increase of 135,624. keep in mind that's your budget, you know, the money was sitting there, I'm just fixing up that budget to make sure you're not having any violations. Had a couple special revenue funds that needed cleaning up. The recycling, kudos to Mr. Miller, the sales have skyrocketed above the budget, so we gotta fix that. The overall revenues in the recycling fund exceeded the budget, so of course we gotta shore that up. Another thing I learned, never too old to learn, the capital gains, unrealized gain loss line items. Again, I reached out to the new auditors. We've never budgeted for that, something fairly new here in Tuscola County. And what happened was that the gains were doing so great, again, it was blowing the bottom line budgets and the revenues. So they did mention that this is acceptable to budget for those line items. You never know what they're going to do, so it's something that's probably going to take continually monitoring throughout 2025. But at least shoring things up for year end. The capital improvement fund as well as the jail capital improvement fund, we did an increase each of about $10,000. That means investments are doing well, that means the county treasurer is doing an awesome job on investments and rates returns. So that's what, there's the good and bad news part of it. The bad news is we have to fix the budgets or we're gonna be in trouble. The good news is we got the extra money. So I will need CA or something on that for action.
I have a question, but where did you find the $15,000 in the vote?
It was sitting in the general. It was sitting in the general fund, and it was a no man's land, so we had to give it identity.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clay.
You're welcome.
Some lots of money for that.
All right, thank you, Claire. Once again, any ongoing and other finance coming before the board?
That potentially, that was
Was
CA.
that a CA or on
Yeah.
Thursday's agenda?
CA.
CA, thank you, commissioners.
Anything else ongoing?
Everything else will be presented on Thursday.
All right. Shifting over to technology, anything to report to the board?
I think we're gonna start placing the new phones this week, but they won't be connected until, I believe, it's the 20th, so that should be starting this week.
Well, thank you. That concludes the finance reports. Back to you, Chairman.
I'll turn it over to Commissioner Cook for building and grounds.
Nothing as far as I know. You have anything, Rick? Okay,
Nothing this week.
nothing.
We'll turn it over to, personnel. Am I the leader of personnel or you? That's what I thought. Because it says out here, it's me, but
First up is we have a request from dispatch to fill a vacant full-time position. And you want to kind of have a letter, tell you more.
I'm sorry.
You have a letter in here, but you want to explain anything more?
No, I can just explain that we're looking to offer Lakin Bigelow a full-time position to fill Mitch Davies after he left the party. She's coming from the South Kingston area, as well as, I can take care of the next one, Trinity Bloss. She's also coming to us from Kingston. So I'm just looking for both of them to replace Mitch Davies and Paige Rushlow.
You want CA on that?
we'll see if it's sufficient for that.
No, I think we should do a motion on hiring, don't you think?
You did it both ways in the past, Commissioner.
Well,
So, your pleasure.
Put it to the board.
Well, it doesn't really matter, as the clerk has said, it is not a new position, it's a vacant full-time position. Typically, that's what you move from the budget, you can take a board action.
Let's see it then.
CA, thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, number 2, we have a request from Bob Baxter to fill a vacant full-time correctional position. I'm not here, but the letter is kind of intended what to do.
See that one also?
There was 2 items for dispatch,
Yes,
CA both items.
yeah, 1 and 2, yeah, because he covered both of them.
Just want to make sure.
For number 3, we got a request from Bob Baxter to hire Jacqueline Frazier to fill his vacant full-time director opening, depending on background check. And we'll start at step 2. And she has 1 year prior dealer experience, 2 years of Department of Correctional experience. We'll be filling another position.
CA.
See ya.
It's fun, so. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Sure. Oh, from the ongoing, you're gonna do the ongoing?
Oh, yeah,
All right, just share that. I have a concern for the board, especially the personnel committee. As of recent, assistant prosecutor has resigned, is that correct?
That is the information I, heard through the line this weekend. I've not been told that from the drug source.
Okay, that's sort of, yeah. But I suspect it happened. So the concern I have is the prosecutor department, Erica there, and as expressed before, they're putting in a number of hours beyond what I'll call reasonableness for someone who has that responsibility. I'm afraid, board, that this is going to be addressed shortly in terms of the staffing. And I know all the challenges of the, that's laid out for the next 26 and 27. We may lose some others. I don't think that's a mystery. Consequently, part of the insurance, and insurance use, I'll switch it to the county in general. Insurance, I have another concern. It's always been something that's been a very attractive benefit to people in retention. Today, we don't have that. Once we lost our pension, those in the pension program will probably hang around no matter what. Those who are not within it, depending on what happens. And I just want to raise that to the board, especially personnel, because the last thing we're experiencing is a gap, overburden. And I know none of us are really connected with the prosecutor's office, but we just lost an assistant prosecutor. We just asked them to hire an assistant prosecutor. Now we're down 1, down 2. And one thing we want to make sure that we need to be talking with Erica, Mark at the time, to assure that they're getting some attention and response, especially from the building. I want to bring out you.
Wasn't the assistant prosecutor have to turn in any kind of a letter or anything?
I don't know. At this point.
Is there anything else on ongoing personnel? And back to you, Mr. Chair.
I'd like to stay on ongoing personnel for a minute. Controller, administrator. I want to give a quick update, and again, my opinion only of what's transpired. Last week, the board made a motion to offer the position to Joe Holbrook. So the personnel committee with the HR director did get with Ms. Holbrook to make that offer and discuss wages, contract, and the stuff that we're doing. The conversation started out fine. An offer was made, which we thought was for according to her credentials and everything, it was fair. And at that point, she notified us that she had another job offer. And she had to think about that. So, to be honest with you, after that, I think our conversation kind of went south after that a little bit. And I think after the meeting, we all were agreed over there, Commissioner Young, HR myself, that she might be the right fit for Tuscaloosa County. We all agree we're looking for somebody who can do the finances of this county, knows county government, but also has to be the right fit for the people that work in the county and for us and as a board and so forth. So since then, we have had a conference with Plan Moran about moving forward for the finances of it all. I thought it went very well. I'm very comfortable, and again, I'm just giving my opinion only to the board. I'm very comfortable with it. I think if the finance chair and stays with them. I feel very comfortable temporarily moving forward in that direction. I think it's something that, that Equity Department will have to, be communicated with them, just to be sure. This ain't their first run, they've done this pretty many times. So we're coming until we can find somebody that I think is not only can do the job here in Tuscola County as far as the finances, but also the right fit for the administration part of it. And we just got that feeling. I think all of us were in consensus that after that, the way after she introduced her other job opportunity, that things kind of went south from there. So anyway, after meeting with them, I'm very, very confident moving forward. I think, again, my opinion was most strictly the board. I think after we get through these December meetings, Shed is instructed to get back to the search. Get out there and start looking, because it's something we do have to do, again, in my opinion only. And then I want to go one step farther, and again, with my opinion only too, that we continue with the search, but also we do need a interim temporary administrator to take over to put out things that are going on in the county outside the finances and stuff like that. And I recommend that the board think about it till Thursday, but I recommend that Shelley Booth becomes the interim temporary administrator until we get the position filled. So in a nutshell, that's my opinion. Pleasure of the board.
I agree with you on that last point, especially because I know she, as well as other people in that department, have been carrying a lot of stuff above and beyond because of this vacancy. I think all of us on the board would agree with that. I think that's something we need to definitely address.
This is an interesting, Chairman, this is an interesting segue. It would be an interim, would be probably one of the areas I think the board just should be aware of. We do have a nepotism policy, and this brings it very close to exactly where that policy is in place. Let's say the county didn't have a nepotism policy, it doesn't really change the issue. Anyone who felt they were being discriminated, whatever, some decision based on husband and wife relationship we have in that particular order would have cause. Now, I'm only saying this because this could occur consciously or unconsciously. It doesn't matter. It just is the nature of the beast. We addressed this some years ago. So you might want to visit that. I understand what you're saying because of the lack of breadth and depth in the department, but that is an area that would open the board up to potential litigation. Somebody would want to raise a cause. Now, what that cause would be, I wouldn't have a clue unless there's something going on in the organization today.
I understand what you're saying, but that's been discussed and looked at. But again, my opinion, an elected official, anybody has the right to run for an elected office. If somebody if someone works at the sheriff's department, but also wants to be sheriff, he has that right to run for elected office. Their job should not be in jeopardy if someone wants to work for elected, because that is everybody's right to run for that. But I think this is where that differs just a little bit, since is an elected position. It's not like a appointed position that will do things. You like to work running against that. Just my opinion, as far as elected, just not elected. Because everybody has the right to be an elected official if they want. But it's something to consider. I want to just bring it up for discussion. It's something to consider, but it's something that we need to, I think, get in place. Somebody has got to be in that department that can put out the fires, to talk, to those problems are still arising. So I want to bring to the board for more discussion on Thursday about that, to look at the policies, look at, what you want to do, because we want to make sure that, you're doing right. But I just wanted to touch on that today.
And Sean, I appreciate that because I know the situation. But I did want to raise that issue because that was a very,
we have
it's a very
to,
significant issue in the county and we did have, we would open ourselves up at some point. But have you considered that will?
yes, we have, that was been talked about, but again, I was looking at it, but maybe the elected part of it is, for an elected official. Then again, somebody has a better, somebody has a different idea, and, we can discuss that too. Right now, it's been just kind of by committee, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they don't know who they're really, they don't know who we're gonna go to or whatever, so someone come in, I'd get called or something, But, I want to bring that up at this meeting, so.
Mr. Chair, I feel at this point in time, Shelley is our answer right now. And she knows what's going on, gotta train her, she knows all the ins and outs. I think that this would be a bad idea, hire her, that's what you're doing, but.
And again, interim, hopefully, February, March, or moving forward, I think, get back to I think we need to take our time, I think we need to apply to our search, I think we interim. Then we can get somebody in place. And like I said, this is just interim.
So with this work, having Shelley be the admin, any decisions that she makes, you have to make them?
Well, we're trying to avoid that, we're trying to get somebody back in place and that. But again, interim is the key, I think, too, Commissioner, so we're just looking for something to hopefully, things change in the near future. That's all I have. Any other business necessary to come from the board?
I'd just like to recognize the Millington football. They won the state championship for Tuscola County, and I think that's a big deal. First time they've ever done that, so. It was a good welcome home party for them, and a real trouble.
Shout out to Millington football. It's funny you said it, because that same night, I had to play music out at Club 24, or out at the golf course. And I told everybody, I told her before I started, I said, what a day this is. I said, Millington brings home the state championship this morning. Michigan goes down to Columbus. I'm at the golf course on the same, I said, Tuscola County's never had us so good. I said, all this stuff happened in one day in Tuscola County is not heard. But yeah, congratulations to Millington for sure.
Really proud of them.
I don't know if you've thought of it, but in the past, the board has prepared a resolution and presented it to a state championship team. We did USA softball a couple of years ago, so that may be something that you want to address and consider.
That'd be a great
That
idea.
is one, and that's great thing for me. I wanted to do that last year too for the Kingston volleyball team, because they also won. So I would like to do one for both, you know what I'm saying? Look back in that.
Just something to think about.
Yeah, I thought about last year, and even talked to them over there about getting some of the players, the coaches, you know what I'm saying? But I would like to do that too. If you do it for one, I want to make sure you do it for it too.
Yeah, so how do we move forward with that, Jeremy?
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Well, my main thing is to do that today.
All right, thank you.
I would say your first step would be to reach out to the coaches.
Yeah,
Let them
and
know
that's
that, and
kind
then
of
they'll be
what,
able to give you some of the
that's right.
highlights and,
Okay.
then a resolution can be.
yeah,
Prepared
Yeah,
by the
because
controller
those
of
today,
your office. So
yeah.
that would be, I'll help you out. I know you're on some cold medicine, so I'll help you out on that.
if there's nothing other business necessary, move into public comment. Anybody got public comment on just the board this morning? See a man out there for public comment right now, let the record show that public comment was offered. And with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Support. Number one, Commissioner Lutz. And Mr. Commissioner Lutz. And supported by Commissioner Cook to adjourn the meeting this morning. Thank you again for attending the meeting this morning.